Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon, Eddie. Hello, good afternoon, Eddie.
Good afternoon. I can hear you.
Oh, please hope you are fine.
I'm very fine. Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. Are you joining us for the first time?
No. I was there last week now.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you very much. So
I was
kindly
there
wait
last
in
week.
the kindly wait in
Yeah,
a
no problem.
jiffy. We will start with the
It's all right.
section.
No problem. I was with you guys last week. Yeah, it was a wonderful one.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Hello, good afternoon, Monday.
Annie, that is Eddie. He just changed his name to the correct one.
Yeah, good afternoon. I just changed my name to the one I used last week.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Kenny.
Mr. Eddie, how are you doing now?
I'm okay. Happy birthday once again.
June, and we went through a bit of a snippet of prompt engineering. How we are going into that in detail today. But I'm just going to do a brief introduction of HIBANE as a company, what we do, and a few other things. Then get right into. So HIBANE is an AI consulting firm with presence in Nigeria and Ghana. So HIBANE is an acronym for Harnessing Innovation, Building Africa's New Era. We believe that Africa has missed out in a lot of technological advancements in terms of creating and being part of the development of those technology. So what has happened over the years when Africa is using technology is that this technology are being designed from the West in other parts in Asia, Japan, India, China, and we just bring those technology to Africa and we start using it without considering the African context of those solutions, right? So we feel with AI, Africa cannot.
Sorry, Mr. Kim.
Yes.
Please, we have Emmanuel Godwin joining us. Can you say hi to him?
Oh, hi, Gordon. How you doing? Hello, Gordon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
You're
I was
welcome.
unable to in the morning section.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I said I was unable to join the morning section, so I had to wait for this afternoon section.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
fine. You're welcome. All right. So as I was saying, part of our mission is that part of our mission as a company is that we want to create awareness for AI, then train the youth, corporates, SMEs on integrating AI into their everyday processes. Maybe you're a student, you're a business owner, you work somewhere, whatever it is that you do, AI can be a support tool that can help you be more productive and efficient. Hence why we set up this training course. Is a 12-week course that happens every Friday. We started last week and it's going to continue for the next 12 weeks. And at the end of the 12-week, each person is going to create their own, as we call it, AI capstone project. We'll share
Hello,
it.
Mr. Kenny. Sorry to interrupt, please.
No problem.
Hello, Kenzuden. Hello, are you there with us? Zicodem. Hey, please, who is Zicodem or Zycodem? Hello.
I think he's having he's trying to join.
Okay, Mr. Kenny, please.
And when people join, you can just drop a message in the chat box to welcome them, so we don't keep interrupting the session. Right? Just welcome them in the chat box. I will see the message as well and respond also.
Okay, boss. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So where were we? Before our moderator so kindly called our attention to the gentleman that just joined us. Right. So I was explaining what will happen at the end of the 12-week. So we would have each person will create their own capstone project. Then everybody reviews and make comments. Then at the end of it, we'll all be issued our completion certificate in artificial intelligence awareness and application for Africa. Right. So for those that have just joined, you are to complete at least 90% of the training for us to be able to issue you a participation certificate. So please make sure you attend up to 90% of the classes, right? So thank you. By the way of introduction, I'm Kenji Yeladi and I'm one of the co-founders of HIBANE AI Consulting Limited. So I'm going to share my screen, then we'll get right into it. All right. So today we are talking about prompt engineering, right? And prompt engineering is pretty simple. So the way we communicate with ourselves as human beings, same way we communicate with machines, your computers, your phones, and your smart devices, right? The same thing applies to artificial intelligence as well. So every artificial intelligence platform that you have runs on code, right? It's not running on common language, it's not running on English. But it has been made possible such that you can communicate with AI in plain language, either in English or in Hebrew or whatever language that you speak where you're from, right? And the way you communicate is very important. Your communication needs to be clear, it needs to be to the point, you need to provide details. So assuming you're talking to a toddler and you want that child to do something for you, what happens is you as the adult, you provide as much details as you can, right? You very clear instructions from start to finish. For example, I want you to take this cup from the dining, get water from the fridge, fill the cup to half position, then bring that water to me. Very clear instruction. Because it's a child, not fully developed yet, the reasoning is not yet complete. So you'll be explicit in giving the instruction, right? Also, if you're speaking with an adult, right, and how do we call it now? You want something done, you can provide a very vague question. Because you're speaking to an adult, we will provide you also an answer, but the answer being provided will be limited in scope to the question that you have asked. For example, let's say I ask Johnson, for example, that Johnson, I need the direction to, let's say Johnson lives in Lagos, for example, and I tell Johnson that, Johnson, I need direction to Abuja. So what Johnson is going to do is he will provide me information based on that question and what he knows. He will say, okay, okay, you can, from Lagos to Abuja, you can go with, by bus, maybe it takes you about 13 to 15 hours, and it will cost you X amount of money. He has answered my question. Very fine and good. But imagine I had asked Johnson and said, Johnson, can you provide me answer on how I'll get to Abuja? I would prefer to go by air, and I prefer a flight that is in not later than, say, 10 a.m. in the morning. And I want a flight that has first class, not economy. I have asked the same question, but I have asked it in different ways, or I have provided context in different ways. Do you understand? Now, Johnson is able to give me that response and say, okay, if you are going by air, you can go with Airpeace, you can go with Arik Air, you can go with HIBANE Air, you can go with Value Jet. Okay, these people do not have first class tickets, they have business class, blah, blah, blah. You'll be able to provide me more details, right? And simply in layman terms, that's what prompt engineering is. Being able to communicate with AI in a manner that saves you time and gives you the best results. So at the end of today's session, we want to be able to understand what prompt engineering is and why it is important for us in this time that we are discussing artificial intelligence. We also want to be able to identify and structure an effective prompts, create prompts that give accurate and practical output, right? Then from next week, we'll go into JSON prompt style. Then we'll explain what that is, right? So let's get right into it. Now, what is prompt engineering? It's quite simple, right? It is means where you communicate with AI. But remember, it's a machine. It can't read your mind. It can't read your emotions. So you have to be able to explain yourself such that the artificial intelligence platform you're communicating with is able to understand you. So prompt engineering is a skill on its own, right? People are getting jobs to just create what you call a prompt book for different areas of life. And it's quite straightforward. Straightforward in the sense that all you need is just logic and you being able to communicate effectively. If I'm asking a question, I ask it with as much detail as we can. I ask it as much clarity as I can, right? Because a prompt is usually how people talk and we communicate with machines, how we talk with AI. Now, when you are giving that instruction to AI, AI is able to is able to respond based on what you have provided, think, and give you a feedback. Remember last week when we were discussing, we said AI has different aspects or has different components. It does not just get information. AI also learns and it can think. So based on the question or information you provide it can learn and get better, and it can think to provide you a response. Now, the question there is, if AI is all knowing, why does what I ask or the way I ask it, why does it matter? It matters because just like when you communicate with an human being or with a person, right? If you provide me information that is not robust enough, the response I will give you will be based on the information that you have provided me. But if you provided me a very detailed information, a very detailed question, then I'm able to provide you very, very detailed answers, right? So I always say clear points means accurate, time saving, and creative results. We'll see in our examples and see how we are able to, get different results based on the information that we provide AI. All right, so I want us to do an illustration, right? I'm going to share my screen. Okay, my screen is already being shared, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. So now let's take an example. Let's go to, let me be sure I'm sharing on my screen. 1 minute. Do I have my chat GPT open? All right. Is my chat GPT screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. So for the purpose of those that were not here last week, I think majority of the other people were here part of the session. So when we were discussing last week, we were talking about data privacy when using AI, right? And we were talking about how to responsibly use AI while protecting your information. So can anyone who was here last week explain what this button here at the top right corner, what it does? The button that says turn on temporary chats. Can anybody tell us what it means? I don't want to call him, so let's have volunteers, guys. Anybody?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, it actually makes you like when you want to create a kind of alias so that you don't have your personal information because everything is being recorded like an input output system. So when you want to make requests or make any inquiry from ChatGPT, you just go the temporary way instead of you to put your main information and everything because all those informations are being recorded. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That's very correct, right? Because artificial intelligence, part of the components that we said it has is it learns, right? It can think and it can learn. And how does it learn? It learns from data. Where does it get that data from? That data comes from the information that we share with that platform, right? So sometimes maybe you're working on something that is a bit more personal and private, and you don't want that data to go into the system. So you turn on this temporary chat button. What it does is whatever you're communicating with AI at that point is not being stored in the history. Remember, just imagine the way you use your browser. When you're using Google Chrome, for example, or Safari or any of these browsing software, there's what you call incognito mode. Incognito mode is a private mode. What it does is, when you're browsing, everything you're browsing stayed stored on your browsing history. So you can go back 6 months, 2 months, and check some stuff that you browsed on and go back to it. But if you go incognito mode, anything you browse for that period is not saved on that device. It's not saved on the history of your browser, even if you are logged in, right? So what it does is once you leave that incognito tab, whatever you have searched for that period is gone. You can't retrieve it. So the same way for AI as well. So it's like a privacy mode. Whatever communication you have is not going to be displayed. Afterwards, you can't go back to it. Except there is need, if it's ChatGPT, for example, they keep a copy of it on the cloud for 30 days. After 30 days, it's gone forever, right? Now, whatever communication I've had with my AI using ChatGPT, the gentleman that just joined us, what's the name? Sorry, I want to see. Uh, where is it? Godfrey. Are you familiar with ChatGPT? Godfrey, are you there?
Yes, please.
Are you familiar with ChatGPT?
Yes.
Okay. What have you used it for before?
Okay. I've been using it for several assignments.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a student?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So now, if you're using your ChatGPT and you're logged in as a user, right? Just like me, I'm logged in here as a user. There's history for everything I've done. If I open this place now, you can see the history of several communication I have had with my AI, right? Because those are things I want to be able to refer to and continue that conversation later. But let's say I want to research something or check on something and I don't want it to be stored in the history. That's what this is for. So if I turn it on or if I click it, it's temporary. You're going to see that whatever we do now, it's not going to reflect here. So the last conversation here is car basics overview, right? So let's do an example. You'll see that it's not reflected, but that's not what we're trying to learn. What we are trying to learn is we're talking about prompt engineering, how a detailed prompt can give you one result and another prompt that is not detailed to give you an entirely different result. So for example, let's say, um, let's say, tell me about, let's say, fashion in Southeast Nigeria, right? I just want to get information on this. And I send it. The AI will search the internet, get information, and provide me some details, which is fine. It says fashion in Southern Nigeria, the homeland of the Igbo people, is vibrant blend of traditional elegance, blah blah blah. It gives me so many information: men's fashion, women fashion, traditional beats, bride attire, influences, and so on and so forth. Right? It's going to keep giving me information. Now, if you go to the end of the response, the AI is now asking me that, okay, what kind of thing am I looking for? Is it for weddings, for festivals, everyday wear, and so on and so forth? Because there is so many information it could give me about fashion that I didn't provide context on. So what I'm then going to do is I'm going to copy the same prompt and give it a bit of more details. We call it context. We'll get to that when we are structuring prompts. Okay. So I'm going to say, for example, with a focus on everyday on everyday casual wears, right? Reference and provide some notable fashion designers from that region. I could say I want a response suitable for a LinkedIn post, right? Now, I'm going to do something which we'll get into and tell how I want AI to think. I will say, as a cultural consultant with experience Nigerian culture. So let's just use this. I provided some context. I will explain why I added this first part as a cultural consultant, right? I will explain it as we go forward in the training. So we're going to compare the response to the one we had before. Now, you see what it's doing. Remember the first response, let's go to it, right? What did he do? Just said traditional attire and went straight into it. But because when I was prompting here, I said I want to use it for a LinkedIn post. What did he do? He first gave the response a title, Everyday Casual Fashion in Southeast Nigeria, Edited Meets Wearable Culture, right? Because of the context that we have provided. So the response is richer and more focused, right? I said I wanted everyday wardrobe. It's not giving me a general response. It's focused on what I have asked. The everyday wardrobe, accord of comfort and identity, and so on and so forth, is giving me some notable designers, Amakwa Osakwe, and the rest of it, right? So that's how prompt engineering works. The more detail you provide, the better the result and the better the response that you get from here. It's not just ChatGPT, every other generative AI tool that we use, the result is determined by the prompt that we provided at the first instance. Are we together? Are we together?
Yes, we are.
Fantastic. Now, I want us to go into what I call prompt engineering basics. Let me make this bigger. Slideshow from current slide. Now, for every good prompt, there is structure to it. There is like the basics. Just like when you're studying algebra and you'd have your basic 1 plus 1 is 2, those kind of things, right? 1 times 0 is 0. Any number multiplied by 1 will still be that same number, right? The same way when it comes to prompting with AI, there are basics to it. It's like a universal rule, and it applies to any type of prompt or whatever it is that you're trying to create with AI. And I call that rule RICO. The T is silent, but it's spelled RTCCO, right? RICO, RTCCO. And it stands for role, task, context, constraints, and output. And I'll take it one by one so we understand what each one is. Remember when we were just prompting now using ChatGPT, right? I said the first thing was, tell me about fashion in the southeastern part of Nigeria. And he gave us a response. When we were using the next response, give me a minute, please. Please 1 minute. I need to connect to a network that will not improve. Just give me a minute. Is it audible now?
It is.
Hello?
Yes, it is.
All right, thank you. I can still see anatomy of a good prompt, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll take it one by one. So the first one is letter R, and that stands for role. Now, if you're communicating with AI, so imagine if I was speaking to a stranger and I don't know what that stranger does. I don't know their expertise, right? So if the person was a doctor and I didn't know, and I was asking the person a question about engineering, what do you think will happen? What will happen is the response it's going to give me, right, will be based off on a general knowledge that that person has about that particular topic because it's not their specialty. But if I had a medical question and I approached a medical professional to provide me answers to that question, I will get a very detailed and actionable response. Now, the same thing applies when you're speaking to AI. Don't just ask AI a question, give it a role. Let's use the example we just did now. What we had asked was act as a what? As a cultural uh, as a cultural consultant. It could be a question about architecture. I would say act as an architect of 20 years experience. It could be a question about medicine or surgery. I would say, okay, act as a surgeon or a neurosurgeon of 30 plus years experience with a focus on the human brain. And then I would then ask my question. What that does is, remember, what AI is creating as a response for you is not manufacturing it out of thin air, right? Although AI hallucinates, for those that were not here last week, hallucination means you can ask AI a question and it will just give you an answer that is not true, an answer that is totally wrong. It's even there on. So let me go to ChatGPT and give you an example. So if you go to ChatGPT, for example, 1 minute. At the bottom here, I don't know if you can see it. At the bottom here, can you see the highlighted text? Hello guys,
Yes,
are we
sir.
together? It
Yes,
says
sir.
ChatGPT can make mistakes.
Yes, sir.
Check important
Important
information.
info.
Do you understand? What it means is it can be wrong, right? It can be wrong. So it can give you a wrong response based on the prompt that you have provided. Do you understand what I'm saying? But when you assign a role to AI, it's going to source for data from information that is relevant to that role. So it limits hallucination, it limits the error that it can provide, right? So that's one advantage of prompting the right way. That's why we are learning prompt engineering, right? Another reason is with the right prompt, you get better results. You get a more actionable result. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, just as a snippet for those that were not here last week, which is part of still prompt engineering, right? If you are using any generative AI or general purpose AI like ChatGPT, Gemini, and the rest, and you're making a research, don't just ask questions, right? You do what you called asking for references or verification. Now, this prompt that we just created now and ask ChatGPT about fashion in Southeast Asia, I can make it such that I want to be sure that the information it is giving me is correct. So I can come here, I can edit the initial prompt, I can follow it up with a prompt. So let's just edit the initial prompt. Then I will say add references and sources for all information you will provide. I will send. You will then see the difference between the former response and this one. So now, when you tell AI to provide reference and sources, right? What it does is it only give you information, right? That you can verify online that, okay, is this true or not? That way you prevent hallucination. Again, hallucination is when AI just, remember we said a component of AI is that it can think, right? Even if it is learning, it can also what? It can think. So when you ask a question, it can just think and manufacture a response for you that is not even correct. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what hallucination means. It gives you data that is wrong, data that is cooked up, that is not actually factual or what you can verify. Now, you see that now the response that is providing for us is taking longer. Why? Because it is not just creating a response, it is creating a response for you that you will be able to verify and confirm that, oh, this is true or this is wrong. Do you understand? So that's another advantage of prompting the right way and avoiding hallucinations. Do you understand? So see the responses they're giving us now. It's provided, it's even added pictures. Now, this is where I'm even going to. Now, you see, for every line of information, if you see here, it provided a link. What it's telling you is that this information I'm giving you, if you click this link, you can verify it. So if I click this link now, it will take me to some web page or a web post where the AI sourced information to provide me an answer, right? So that way you're sure that the information that you are getting is not just being cooked up. Look at this one. Say local market tailoring concern, notably Abbas, Aria, and Olisha Textile Hub. It got the information for Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a very trusted and reliable source of information on the web all over the world. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can see that, oh, this information is correct, and it's not that it's just been manufactured. Okay. So that's a very good example of prompting the right way. So we've talked about role. The other part is task. Now you need to tell AI what you want to do in very clear terms. It can be that summarize a report, generate a report, give me bullet points on so and so, create a strategy for me. Don't just say review or provide, be detailed. Okay. The next thing is what you call context. Context is provide as much detail as you can. Do you understand? Like we're doing for when we're trying to get information about Southeastern Nigeria. Remember, the first one was tell me about fashion in Southeast Nigeria. It's not specific. So he went us to give us so many information that we did not need. Then we came back and we said, you know what? Let's refine the prompt and provide context. So we said about fashion in Southeast Nigeria with a focus on everyday casual wears, reference and provide some notable fashion designer from that region, right? I want a response suitable for a LinkedIn post. It's still context. Even add references and sources is still context. We are providing information so that the results that we get, it is fixed, it is fitted to what you want exactly. It's not just going to be providing you general information. And that's how you get the best out of AI. Another example is, not another example, another component which is important is what you call constraints. Constraints in the sense of limitations. For example, this post that we created, right? We said is a LinkedIn post, right? I can prompt it further and say, I want the tone to be engaging and add a bit of humor. I always like when posts are funny. I feel it's more engaging. So I'll use that as an example, right? So I can prompt further and say, refine the above response such that, comma, it has a bit of humor and more engaging with the aim of getting more follows / connections on LinkedIn. Now I've added a bit of more refinement. Then it's going to refine it and give you more. So it's going to now be more specific to what I wanted, right? So in as a jeans or chinos plus senator top, right? Is it dress up without this? Is it perfect for more? Is adding for women? Do you understand? At the end of the day, it's going to create something that will then suit what I want. Now, look at this. It says now added, want to connect or collaborate. If you're a branding, this, I'd love to connect. If you're a designer, hit me up. If you open a post, we are already friends. Do you understand? Because we told it, the aim of sharing this post or creating this post is we want more follows for that particular LinkedIn profile or page as the case may be, right? So that is what we mean by saying we are providing constraints. Now, the last part of a good prompt is what you call output. You let AI know how you want your results. Do you want it in bullet points? Do you want to add tables to it? Do you want it to be exported as a PDF? Do you want it to be exported as an Excel file? Do you want it to be in a report format? Do you understand? So when you provide those details, it can give you better response. So let's go back to the example that we just did now, right? Now I'm going to edit this and say, provide the response in a downloadable PDF file. That means I don't want to copy the text somewhere. I want it to be in a PDF file I can download. And I click send. So it's going to do the same thing. Then provide me a link to a PDF that I will download and I can view on my laptop or my device as the case may be. Right? So why is generating that? That is the basic or the fundamental components of a good prompt. And that is the summary of prompt engineering. Your AI must have a role, must give it a task, you must provide context in the sense of as much information, as much description as you can, and you give it constraints. Constraints in the sense that to focus your response on. This is the way I want it to be. I don't want it to be more than this. If I was writing an article, I can say I want it to be 1,000 words exactly. So whatever it's creating is going to be exactly 1,000 words. Then I can say this is the output I want. It should be in Word format. It should be in what's it called? It should be in a PDF format. I can even tell it should be in PowerPoint format. This same presentation that I'm having right now, I created the text and here I turned it into a PowerPoint for me, right? So it's an everyday tool that we use and we need to get used to using. All right. Is there any other question before we get into a bit of more practical and do several examples? Any questions, guys? Are we following?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Is there any question?
No, sir, not really.
All right, thank you. So we'll go ahead. Please, I'm going to ask for a cup of water. Please give me a minute.
Hello, Mr. Kenny.
I want to take something.
Hello, Mr. Kenny.
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Please, I was saying that, as you said earlier, that means with a good prompt engineering thing will give you the best result.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. What about maybe you forgot to add something to it and you add it to, like maybe you add later after the AI is giving a result. What is that one called?
Give me a minute. Sorry. Can you repeat the question? You said what? Ania.
I said, please, I said that after you have given the AI the prompts that you want to use,
Mm-hmm.
then you later
Aniat, I'm losing you.
realize that you needed to add something to it after maybe it has provided the answers. So when you further add another prompt to the previous prompt, does
Yeah. Is it me or Aniat is breaking up?
I think she's the one breaking up, not you.
Oh, okay. Maybe our reception is somehow. Aniat, can you repeat your question? You were breaking up. Aniat,
yes, Mr. Kenny, please did you hear me?
yes. Can you repeat the question,
Okay.
please? We didn't hear. You were breaking up, so it wasn't so clear. Aniat, can you
Very
repeat the
bad.
question?
I said my network is very bad.
Okay, repeat the question so we can. Okay, maybe when she has a better network, she will ask the question again. All right, so I want us to take some practical examples and then see the difference between what we get and what we get from when we prompt properly and when we don't prompt properly. Again, let's go back to the structure because I'm going to be asking us questions, right? So let's remember this. We said a good prompt would have, basically will have 5 components. We call it RICO. The first one is the role. The second one is the task. The third one is context. The fourth one is constraints. And the last one is outputs. Can we have that written somewhere or jotted somewhere down, right? So we're going to take one example after the other. But before we go into our examples, right, I want us to go through something we called progressive prompting. Now, remember when we were discussing the components of a good prompt? We said we should provide it with a role, we should provide it with uh, context, we should provide it with limitations, we should provide it with outputs, and so on and so forth. Now, the way AI works, it can also work as a reverse, right? So let me explain what I mean by reverse. Let's say, for example, you want to prompt on a subject or on an area that you don't have all the details, or you want to create something and you don't have all the details. You can do what you call progressive prompting. Progressive prompting in the sense that you can just ask based on the information you have, the basic info that you have, right? So let's do an example. Is my ChatGPT screen showing? Hello?
It's the write-up is blocking it. Yeah, the
Okay.
ChatGPT is showing. It's
Okay.
showing.
Let me let me move it.
It's better
So
now.
I want to, let me maximize it. Okay. Is it clear now? Can you see my
Yes, it
chat
is.
GPTs? Okay, fantastic. All right.
Yes.
So just like we said the other time, remember this is a temporary chat. So when you go here, you see that it's not going to show on the history. If I should leave this page now, I can't get this back. So let me open a new chat. And that's it. I can't come here and revert back to that conversations that we had, right? Because we use the temporary chat. If I didn't turn in on, if I prompt like this now, everything will be saved in the history, which we are going to do now. So let's give an example. So we're talking about progressive prompting. That means starting from a basic idea, then prompting further based on what AI responds or gives you, then you're able to do what and get your final results. So I need an example. So I like calling people from the group. Uh, Mr. Eddie, what do you do, sir?
Hello, sir.
Yes, what do you do? What field do you operate in?
Yeah, I operate as a clinical psychologist, and I'm
Okay,
also a technical advisor assistant to National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
okay, fantastic. So uh, so give us a topic in your field that we can research on. Any topic.
Uh, Cognitive psychology.
Cognitive
Yeah, psychology.
psychology. Fantastic. Right?
Psychology, CH.
Now, so let's say, for example, me that uh, I'm not in the, I'm not in this psychology space, right? And maybe I was having a conversation with Mr. Eddie, and he made reference to cognitive psychology, but I don't even know what it's about. I just want to get uh, basic information. Let me even understand what it does. So I go to my AI and I just type cognitive psychology. I don't have to ask any more details. I'm not even going to follow the suggestion that AI is giving me. I just want to ask basic details. I'll just send, right? So we are talking about progressive uh, prompting. So it's going to give me a, a definition. Say psychology is scientific study of mental process, including perception, memory, problem solving, core assumptions, key areas of study. So it's providing a very generalized information, right? So now let's say, okay, now I understand that, oh, this is what cognitive psychology is about, right? So let me now say I want an information about cognitive psychology as a field of study in, let's say, uh, in Europe, for example. Or no, let me not say that. Let me say, yes, I'll just say that's good to know. Again, when I'm prompting, I always like to talk to AI as if it's a person. So it gives this, it gives this a persona, it gives this, it behaves as an entity. So the response is more human-like, right? So that's good to know. Can you provide some details about notable psychologists that have contributed to this field? Then I'm going to send. Now, remember, at the beginning, all I typed was cognitive psychology because I didn't know anything about it. Now, that's different from what we have been learning so far about prompt engineering, that we should provide details, we should do this, we should do that, right? So this part, I call it sometimes, I call it reverse prompt engineering, because I'm starting with something basic, then I'm progressing to something advanced. Now, because I have more information, I can prompt further, right? It's called progressive prompting. I can get more details from the same information, right? So it's giving me information about some notable people that have worked on that field. Say, okay, Ulrich Neiser, even put their year and how long they were active for. You put those things, right? So if I want, I can say, okay, streamline this to only people from the United States. Streamline this to only people from the United States and state their word. Now, because I have more information now, then I can now start adding uh, information based on what we have learned in prompt engineering. I can now say and say their work and their work. Now I can now say this is the output I want. Present the results in a table format, right? So I don't want words. I want it in the table. Then to go ahead and create just that for me. Now, you see the difference. So this is what you call progressive prompting, right? We started with a very basic idea, then we progressed as we went on, then we went on to refine it to make it focus to what we wanted. If I knew all the information at the beginning, I would have provided it, then I would get this particular result that I want. But even the field, I didn't know any information about it. But with the help of AI, I was able to get, okay, background information, okay, focus it in this way. So the same way in your everyday field or everyday life. So I don't want people to say, okay, because we learned prompt engineering at HIBANE Academy, right? I say we should have all the details before we prompt with AI. No. See AI as a tool that is helping you to be effective and more productive. If it's a basic idea, even say, for example, let's say you want to start a food business, for example, and you want to create a, let's say you want to create a feasibility report, or let's say you want to create a sales strategy, right? Let's use that as an example, actually. Now, I don't know how to go about it. I just had the idea that I want to start a food business. Before AI, you will do is you either get a consultant who will do research for you and give you a strategy to help you, deploy your food business, right? So I'm just going to say, hey, my name is Rex, right? I have an idea to start a food sales business in Accra, Ghana. I'll say, where do you think I should start from? I have no clue, right? So again, remember what we said at the beginning. We said, okay, so I can say, hey, my name is Rex. As a business strategist of world renown, I'm not putting experience. I'm just going to do this. So I don't know anything about marketing. I don't know about location. I don't know this. I just have that idea. So I want AI to help me. Then I send this. So you see what it's doing? It's going to break it down into very actionable steps. Say first one, clarify your concepts. Do you want to sell ready-to-eat meals, street food, blah, 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 it's providing that. Say conduct market research, right? Step three, business planning, and so on and so forth, right? So I will now come here and say, okay, this market research, I can now ask AI to then work further on it. Instead of at the beginning, I didn't know that I need to do a market research, but AI has now said I need to do market research. Then I'll still add the same AI to create that market research for me. Now say, fantastic response. I would like you to create a market research for me as my business strategist, right? Remember we said we'll give it a role. Let's say now you come here based on the response that the AI has provided. It's the same thing that I will now use. And that's okay. I can then say my peak demand times. I can say launch rush, launch rush. I'll put it there. I'll say and focused on university students. So to then provide what? Provide more details as I go forward. So this is what you call progressive prompting. Remember, at the beginning, we started with the basic idea. It's like the reverse of what we were talking before, that when you're prompting, provide all the details, all the information that you can get and give it to AI to get the best results. So with the message you are trying to pass is, even if your idea is not fully formed, you can use AI to make it to a fully fledged solution or a fully fledged result. Now, it's creating a market research for me, right? So I say demand analysis, blah, 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 blah. Big opportunity, large student population in Legon, UPSA, and GIMPA, right? It's already telling me where I need to focus on, right? It's recommending an initial model, cloud kitchen, target campus pickups, use delivery service. You can see, what's it called? You can see it's telling me campuses to use. It's telling me, okay, when is the launch rush hour between 11:30 and 2 p.m. I didn't know this at the beginning, right? If it was a fully fledged idea, I would have said, okay, I'm targeting this, I'm targeting this, I'm doing this is my location, this, my that. But from a basic prompt, I'm able to progressively prompt and get very detailed results from AI. So I don't know if there's any question or we need clarification before we go on further. Any question, guys?
Well explained and very clear.
All right, thank you. So let me go back to our slide so we can keep yeah. All right. Now, I want us to do some practical exercise, right? And see how the results will be with the right prompt. So an example, let's say I have a car that I want to sell and I need to create an ad for that app, for that car. For this case, I'm using a Mercedes, right? So I'm going to copy this. This is very basic. I want us to use a tool called Google Flow. It's very good for storytelling and it creates video from text prompts, right? So I'm going to come here and paste my prompt. So my prompt is Write a 47-second ad video and script for selling Mercedes, blah, 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 blah. Now, if I do this here, I'll get a result. So Flow creates videos in sequence of 8 seconds. So it's not going to do 45 seconds. So I'm going to do 8 seconds. 8 seconds. Then I will get it. So I'm going to send. But to create a 45 seconds video or even a 1-hour video, I can use AI to create a script that will then match, that will turn into a 45 seconds video. So we have asked this to just create that. So I can come to ChatGPT, the same ChatGPT, or I can go to Gemini. So let's use Gemini since we've been using ChatGPT a lot. So I'll paste the prompt here that right. Why is it not pasting? Okay. So I said write a 45-second video hash script selling Mercedes-Benz, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to add any details. I'm just going to send this. Are we still together?
Yes, we are.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we're with you.
Okay. Okay. So it's giving me a script, right? Give it a title. So now because I said 45 seconds, it's breaking it into sequence of from seconds to seconds. So the first one, slow motion, blah, blah, blah. This, that, that. So it's general till you get to 45 seconds. But I want to add context to it. So I'm going to say, refine this as a video director of world renown, or as a video, as an Academy Award winning video director. Then, like we were learning, right? I'm going to add context. I can say, for example, target audiences in Ghana, add a bit of Ghanaian culture to the scripts. Because we want to use Google Flow, remember I said Flow creates ad in multiples of 8 seconds. I will get back to the video that I created. Multiples of 8 seconds. I will say each scene should last 8 seconds, including voice over, right? Then I'm going to send. Now, while we're waiting for that, let's go to what this gentleman created for us. So remember, the prompt was very simple. Write a 8-second video ad selling Mercedes GLE 350 2017. We didn't say location. We didn't say where our target audience is. We didn't say if we wanted voiceover. We didn't provide much detail. Of course, it will create something, right? But it's generic. So let's play this and see. Right? You can see the results. There are fair colored people in it because we didn't tell it was a targeted ad for a particular space, right? But now we have said let's refine it to be for people in Ghana, right? See what it's going to do. It's going to provide more context, right? So the first thing is this close up, pre. Now, remember, look at the first result he gave us when we did this. The first thing was slow motion shots, GLE 350 details, blah, blah, blah. When we now came back, we said award-winning academy video director. Can you spot the difference in the former response and this? If you see this one, it is more detailed. It's giving you cinematic shots. It's giving you what the music should be. It's giving you camera cues. It's giving you different things because we have given that AI a role. So he's thinking as if he's actually an Academy Award-winning video director. If you look at this, it's adding context that is focused on Ghana because in our prompt, we have requested that, okay, let's target audience that are in Ghana. Here he's saying he's choosing a street like Osu or airport residential in Ghana, right? The people in Ghana, they know these places, right? I drove past airport residential when I was in Ghana, but I'm not sure I went to. Annie, did we go to Osu? Annie has gone. Is she with
Yes,
us?
please, boss. You said
Did we go to Osu while we were in Ghana?
yes, please. No, no,
Or
no. We didn't go to Osu.
just airport residential, right?
Yes, please. Yes,
Okay.
that was airport residential.
So now, you see, it's adding context based on the information that we provided, right? That's what prompt engineering, and these are practical use cases. So I'm just going to take one of it and paste it in our video generator. So you can compare it and see that, okay, we have something that is focused on what we want. So GLE 350 2017. I can add color and say black, right? And then send the prompt. So the idea is the more detail we provide, the better result that we get. And the other side, if your idea is not fully formed, it's not a problem. Prompt with a one-line prompt, then you refine further by providing more details because you now have a better understanding, right? So before we close today's class, I want to, how many people do we have online? So we have just a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So Mr. Kelvin, can you tell us what you do? And let's create a prompt to create a video ad for your business or for where you work. Mr. Kelvin, are you with us?
Yes, please. Please, I'm an innovator. I'm into this kind of innovations, not only for electricals or electronics, but in general. So I think
Okay.
when we identify a problem or something, we find solution to it. So I can say, um, when there is a problem in general, we just identify a problem, we go back and sit and create a device which can suit that problem.
Guys, please give me 2 minutes. Is that fine?
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Thank you. Hello, guys. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Sorry for the interruption. My attention was called that it was time for me to take medication actually. So I'm actually on
Okay,
medication.
okay.
So
All
I
right,
had
sir.
to take it every 6 hours. It was time. So I had to excuse myself. So sorry for that.
No problem.
All right. Thank you. All right. So, um, where were we? Okay. So now let's compare the first video to the second video. Remember again, so this is the prompt. Let's go to it. This is the prompt. We gave it a role, we gave it direction, we made it detailed. This is the first prompt. Very one liner. So this is the video that the first prompt created. Now let's compare it to this one. Can you see the surroundings, the details, the camera movement, everything looks professional, not just something that is just created on the fly, right? So I set it to give us two options, right? So if you're wondering, okay. Can you see that the background of the video is not showing somewhere that is looking like in Europe? It's looking African because we provided that detail. The person driving it is dark because we are targeting people in Ghana. Do you understand? There are people in Ghanaians that are fair. Apologies to you, but we are just talking about majority. Okay? Before Aniat would arrest me that I'm discriminating, I'm not discriminating, right? So the idea is we get better results from this when we prompt the right way, hence the essence of today's class. Again, we'll go back to our slide and look at the things that we highlighted. We said we call it, it's very easy to remember, RICO, RTCCO. The T is just sounding when you're pronouncing it. Give your AI a role, give it a task, give it context, give it constraints, and give it an output. We've explained what that is. So the gentleman that is an innovator, I want us to create a prompt for you and use it to create a video. Now, this tool I'm using to create this video, we'll still have a separate session on how to use it to the maximum. We are just using this for the purpose of prompt engineering, right? There are different things that we're still learning in this space. So don't, in case you have questions, we can always do that afterwards, right? So I think it's our fourth session or fourth module. We'll be going into creating videos with some of these tools, right? So the innovator, what's your name, sir?
Please, I'm Kelvin from phone.
Kelvin. Fantastic. Pleasure to meet you, Kelvin. So do you have a name for your brand?
It's Kelvin from Phone Innovations.
Kelvin, spell the Frepong, please.
FRI.
Mm-hmm.
MPONG.
Innovations. So I'm saying Kelvin Frepong Innovations is an innovation startup in Ghana. It's a video hard focused on what kind of innovations do you do?
I do general innovations, like when I tackle a problem.
Give me an example of anyone that you've created so we can just.
Okay, so far I think I have a club switch.
A what?
For a club switch for 240-volt devices. When you club every device or appliance you have in your home which contains 240-volt turns on automatically.
Okay, so focused on a club switch. The innovation helps users to turn off Is it power or a device? What are you turning off?
For now, I use this for a normal 240-volt bulbs, so which is
Okay.
our bulbs.
To turn off bulbs when they clap, right? So
Yes, please.
we'll give it name, blah 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 blah. Now I'm going to show you another trick that I use for my prompts, right? Because what I realize is as much as we learn prompt engineering, we are doing this, we are learning how to prompt. Our knowledge is still limited. So after I've created a prompt that I feel, oh, is so fantastic, this is what I then do. I will copy that prompt and go to ChatGPT. Is my ChatGPT screen opened? Can you see my ChatGPT screen?
No, sir.
Oh, please.
1 minute. Um, how about now?
Sure, we can see.
Okay,
Yes, you can
fantastic.
see.
So I'm going to paste that prompt here. Then I'll come here, then see what I'll do. The first thing I'll do is I'll say, as an experienced prompt engineer. Now, all over the world, we have prompt engineers, right? Me and you, we are also prompt engineers because we are learning how to prompt. But no matter how much we learn how to prompt, we cannot learn to prompt like AI will prompt. There is no, it's not biased. There's nothing we can do about it. So if we learn so much prompt engineering, we write a very perfect prompt. We'll then take it to AI and tell AI to refine that prompt and give us an amazing result. Makes your work easy. So this is what I do. I say, as an experienced prompt engineer, right? Refine the below to be suitable for use on. Now, what I'm doing now is I'm providing context, just like we learned, right? Which is the first C part of our RICO. Now, the context I want to provide is when you are using different, I don't know if it was this session or the session we have in the morning, I was explaining that different AI platforms are built on different models. Models in two ways. First model in that how they operate, what is the language that that AI platform is based on. Two, model in the sense that the outputs that it generates. Some platforms generate videos. ChatGPT in itself cannot generate a video. It can generate pictures, but ChatGPT has what you call Sora that they use for generating video. It is developed by OpenAI. That's their own video generating tool, right? Now, why am I mentioning this? When you're prompting and you want to refine your prompts with another AI to like ChatGPT, for example, you need to tell the AI where you want to use that prompt. Remember, AI has access to all the database on the information on the internet, right? So when you are providing, say, I want to use it on, let's say, for example, VO3, Google Flow, or Nano Banana, wherever, it's going to give you a prompt that is suited to that platform. So I'm going to say, it's suitable for use on VO 3.1. So there was VO 3 before, now it's VO 3.1, right? I can now say, in addition to other refinements you will do, add a bit of African context, right? Remember, I've already said the innovator startup is in Ghana, right? So watch what it's going to do. It's going to create a prompt for me that is way better than what I have before. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, it has created a prompt, right, based on the information that we provided, and it has broken it into 4 scenes. But because of time, I wanted to just create a prompt that will give me an 8 seconds scene. So I'm going to say, refine it to suit an 8 seconds video. Just one scene. Again, this is progressive prompting like we discussed the other time. We started with something and we improve it from there, right? Now it has given me a prompt. It added an on-screen text and so on and so forth. So next week, we are going to go into what you call JSON prompting. So JSON prompting is prompting as if you're coding, but you're coding in English. And that's the best way to get results from generative AIs. Generative AIs are AIs that generate video and pictures, right? So we'll do a snippet today, but we'll get more into details next week, right? So this same prompt that we have after generation, we'll turn it to a JSON prompt and see the result. Okay. So I'm going to do this, copy the prompt, then I'll go back to view 3 and paste it there. Then Shaka. While it's creating, I'll go to here and I'll ask ChatGPT to turn the same prompt above into a JSON is spelled JSON, a JSON prompt. Now, the advantage of using a JSON prompt is that it sticks more to scripts, right? From what we'll get from here, you'll see that, for example, the on-screen text, instead of writing, let's say, future, it can write factual. It can have misspellings. But with JSON prompting, you can still have that, but you can get better results that is streamlined to what you're asking for, especially with video generation and with text picture generation. So while that's loading, let's see what the JSON prompt is. We are going to explain how to write a JSON prompt, right, from scratch. We are going to write it. We are going to discuss how to do that next week. So don't bother yourself about what all the details here is, right? But would go into that next week so we can learn how to write it. So it's good that you learn how to write it. But if you feel, oh, that's too much technical details, I don't need it, Mr. Kenny. Just write your prompt in English, then copy it into another generative AI and ask it to turn it into a JSON prompt for you, right? So I'm going to copy this and create another video with it. So we can then compare how it looks. So the first video is ready. So is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
What are you saying?
It is. It is visible.
What are you saying? I want to be sure you're saying this the right thing.
Okay. A man in a parlor with
Okay, fantastic. So let me just zoom it out and play it. Now, let me pause this. Can you see that the spelling of smart is not correct here? Can you see
yes.
that? It's saying SMAIRT. That's not the spelling of smart, right?
Yes.
It's even adding some Chinese letters. We didn't ask it to do that, right? Now we'll compare it with what you have from a JSON prompt. Then you can see the difference. So it's still loading. So let's allow it to finish. Now, without playing, can you see the difference between the living room here and the living room here? You can see that it came out better, it's brighter, it looks better.
Yes,
Am I correct?
yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Because we are communicating with the AI in a language that it understands, that it doesn't have to interpret. When I communicate in English, the AI platform first takes that English, converts it into code, provides a response in code, then converts it into a visual response that I'm able to understand. So in that process, sometimes some things are lost, deviations happen, hallucinations happen. But with JSON prompting, you can get something way better, right? So let's magnify this and see our results. Can you see? Even the text is better. The only error here now is what? It means the way it's spelled Ghana. But you get the idea. I can then refine further and say, well, Ghana was spelled wrongly, correct it, right? So with JSON
Yes.
prompting, you get a better result, right?
Mm.
So that's so we'll go into how to write JSON prompts in the next module, which will be happening next week, Friday, right? Still the same time, 10 a.m. in the morning, Nigerian time, 9 a.m. Ghanaian time, 2:45 p.m. Nigerian time in the afternoon, and 1:45 p.m. Ghanaian time for those joining the afternoon session, right? So before we end today's class, I just want us to do something creative and just let's see. So remember the script. I'm sure you go online, you see some videos that items are exploding and they are coming back together, right? You know, that's generated with AI. And we are going to just create something simple with that, and we'll call the class a close, right? So number one, what I do is I'll go to ChatGPT and I'll say, create a prompt to do a walk through of a living room where the furniture are being formed from explosion in pieces. Hmm? Again, prompt engineering, the living room should be a hyper realistic contemporary living room. Then I'm going to send. I don't have to bother about the details. It will create that prompt from me. Now I'm going to copy that same prompt and take it to View 3 and paste it here. So again, duration is 8 seconds. View 3 cannot do as at today 10 seconds video. So it's going to be 8 seconds. So I'm going to send it. And let's watch it come to life. While we're doing that, Ania, please let's take question in case anybody has a question or contribution or clarification before we call it a day.
Boss, please, I have a question.
Go ahead, please.
Please, what's the difference between photorealistic and hyperrealistic?
Okay, so when you say something is photorealistic, it can, which English will I use now? You know, you can have a picture of a building. It will look nice, but the building would not be real. I don't know if that's clear.
No.
Photorealistic would be like you take an image, but that image, it might be image of a cartoon, it might be image of a drawing. It's not real, right? But when you use the
Yeah.
word hyperrealistic, you are telling me that I want it to look real, as if I'm seeing that thing face to face. So it's not a cartoon, it's not a rendition, it's not a drawing. I don't know if that makes
Okay. So yes. So when do you use like the tool? How how do we incorporate the tool in our prompting? When and where do we use the tool?
okay. So it depends on what you're trying to create, right? So if for
Yeah.
me, if you're creating let's say you are creating abstract objects. For example, maybe you are creating a banner for a social media post, you are creating a marketing content that are images, right? You can use photorealistic. But if creating a video content, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Or you are creating, for example, with AI, which we will get into, the AI tools that I can attach my picture and I will tell that AI to edit the picture. Maybe I'm in my room. I can say it should make it look like I'm walking on the beach. Now, if I say photorealistic, it will create it, but it might change my face, it might change my posture, it might make me taller, it might make me shorter or something. But if I say hyperrealistic, I'm telling the AI that stick to the realism of the referenced image I have provided. So don't change my
Okay.
face, don't change my if I have pot belly, leave the pot belly. If I'm short, leave me short. Just change. Maybe I was in my room in that picture. Okay, change it to maybe I was sitting in my office. So that's the difference between the
Okay.
two. Does
Okay.
that make
Okay.
sense?
Thank you very much.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
please.
You're welcome. All right. So
Please, any question? Calvin, please ask questions. Calvin friend Paul.
you can see our video that we've created. Now, if I'm an interior designer now, I can send this as a sample to customers that want me to design their apartment. And I say, oh, this is what your apartment is going to look like I mean, the possibilities are endless, right? I could ask it, somebody, Mr. Hedy, that is in clinical psychology now, for example, I can create a video ad for somebody that is a process of attending to somebody with, let's say, schizophrenia, for example. I will break it into steps. And that video, you can use it for training purposes, maybe when you have interns and stuff. So the possibility, there are so many things. And I know we are going to get a lot by the end of our 12-week program. All right, so thank you guys. If there are questions, please let's ask. Or if there are suggestions, you think there is something we should be doing that we are not doing, we are open to it. If not, we would take it, call it a day and move from there. So over to you guys.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kenny, for this afternoon section. We are grateful. The videos look very, very nice.